Hey everybody! Today I'm going to be doing my April Pan in Every palette update. I've been previously updating on Instagram, and now my goal is to update on Instagram as I hit pan, but then also update here on YouTube at the beginning of every month to show you guys the usage, the change, any new palettes I'm working on, any pan I've hit, and all those kind of things, since it is a little bit easier to go further in depth here on YouTube. So on January 1st, I started this project. I started out with 4 palettes: the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, the Coastal Scents Revealed 2 palette, and the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone The Old Formula 8 pan. Since then, I've hit pan on all 4 of those and rotated in the new palettes I'm working on. So I can tell you when I've rotated in these new palettes and also how many times I've used them between that date and today, which is April 5th. So the first palette, I've got my list down here in front of me. The first palette that I hit pan on was the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone. I had picked the kind of champagne-y eyelid shade in it. It took me 8 uses to hit pan, and I hit pan on the 30th of January. At that point, I rotated in the Balm Petite palette. It's the one that says "Eat Your Heart Out" on the inside. And I rotated in the shade Tate R Tot, which is this one right here. I don't like this shadow. I love the mattes in this palette, but this shadow is not. It's not a good one. I've only used it 7 times since January 30th. I'm not a fan. It's not something that I reach for. Then on, let's see, the 18th of February, I hit pan in the Mauve Crease shade in the Coastal Scents 2 palette. That is when I rotated in the ColourPop Element of Surprise palette, and I rotated in, let me find the best way to do it, this shade right here, which is Labyrinth, right? Yeah, there's an N in it. And I already have a pretty good dip in it. I don't know if you, yeah, you guys are going to be able to see that. I already have a really good dip in it. I love that as a crease shade. I've used it 11 times since then. I've used it 11 times since then, and it is definitely something that I enjoy. Then on the very next day, on the 19th of February, I hit pan on the shade Luscious, which is the like beigey sparkly shade in the Sweet Peach palette. And the Coastal Scents one took me 22 uses to hit pan. The Sweet Peach took me 18 uses to hit pan, and that is when I rotated in the Blink Electric Eyes palette, which was in collaboration with BoxyCharm, and I rotated in this middle shade here. It's a nice palette, it's a nice shade. I have to use my finger, so it kind of keeps me from doing a ton with it, but I do like it. So far I've used it 5 times, and because I'm using my finger, I'm not going to hit pan on it very fast, but as long as I remind myself to use it once or twice a week, at some point I will hit pan on it. And then the last shade that I hit pan on was Milk Chocolate in the original Chocolate Bar palette from Too Faced. It took me 12 uses. Now with that being said, oh, and I did it on the 3rd of March. With that being said, all of these palettes already had some use to them, except for the Revealed 2 palette. I'd probably only ever used that shade once or twice. The Milk Chocolate shade in the Too Faced palette had quite a bit of use, so it only taken me 12 uses. Not a surprise. That was when I rotated in the Lorac Pro Matte palette, and I rotated in this color here, which is Bear. It is, you're not going to be able to tell. It's like a creamy, it's what I use to set my eye primer. I really like it. I've used it 7 times, more so because when I rotated that in, it was the 3rd. I finished my roulette pan collab on the 5th, and then I still kind of used it for the next couple of days. And then I got sick, and so I wasn't wearing a ton of makeup. So since I rotated Brulee out, I've probably used that every single time I've worn makeup. So those are all the palettes I'm working on right now, those 4 palettes. I will probably hit pan on this palette first before any of the others. This one's really the only one that I've got a dip going in, and since I've used it twice as much as everything else, I've already used it 11 times. The next one I'll probably hit pan on is this one. My hope is that I hit pan on both of these this month, and I'm able to add them to the list of the palettes that I own that I have pan in. So let me know if you're doing this challenge. Put your Instagram handles or anything like that down below so I can check you guys out, and I will see you guys again in another video. Bye!